Hey guys, what's up? This is Justin Bozeman. Another random drive time. Even though I'm sitting here, I'm actually just waiting for my food. But I want to tell you guys a funny story. So, normally I'm very pro police in this whole uh, police brutality thing, usually. But I've had what is probably my worst interaction with the police at night. So, let me tell you about it. It was interesting to me that during this interaction, because what I was doing is I was trying to turn into somewhere so that I could turn around. And so the cop, for some reason, I don't know if he thought I was loitering or waiting for a drug deal or something, but this cop just comes out and starts flashing his lights and yelling at me. And I try to explain to him that I'm a rideshare driver and I'm just turning around so that I can back up into a certain space because there was no place to turn around. And this guy was so just his energy was just so it was ridiculous. It was what I would call unnecessary. A lot of it was just unnecessary. Like I could see the the resentment towards me just doing anything. So I started thinking to myself, because I predominantly drive in the city of Pittsburgh, and even though I don't live in the city of Pittsburgh, thankfully, I oftentimes see their police, and I started thinking to myself, if these are the type of negative interactions that people have with cops consistently, I can understand why they would be upset. But then I thought about something, and this is what I thought about. I thought about the fact that in this city, they have elected into this city, in terms of city council, nothing but Democrats. Now, if you listen to black people tell you something, they'll say that Democrats are supposedly the ones who aren't racist and they could fix everything under the sun, right? So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, well, since the Democrats run the city, they should be able to, make sure that their police are not as belligerent and, you know, uh, for some reason, and just over excessive, which is what they typically are. And I started thinking to myself, but yet they've never introduced, even though they've been in control and been in power for the last however many years in the city of Pittsburgh, they've had control over the sheriff, over the police department. They've never enacted any type of legislation that would make their officers who act in the way that this officer acted, which was typically excessive and abusive. They don't have legislation that holds this man accountable to the people who live in the city, or to the people who he is supposed to protect and serve. And my thing is, since you're in power and since this is such a big issue for you guys, why haven't you done it? Why haven't you introduced legislation? Because you have the majority. There's no one that's going to vote you down if this is what you're marching about and people are telling you to do. Nobody's going to stop you. So why hasn't it been done? Why hasn't it been done yet? And I come to the conclusion that they probably really say they care. To quote Michelle Terrian when he was talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins years ago, they say they care, but they really don't care. Because if they cared, they would prioritize legislation that would protect you, the citizen, from the supposed police who are brutal to you guys. But they haven't done it. Why haven't they done it? Can somebody answer to me the question, why haven't they prioritized legislation that would make the police accountable to the citizens that they are serving? That's all I want to know. If you can give me an answer on why they haven't done it, or why you think they haven't done it, especially when they have the majority, because an answer cannot be, well, they can't do it because, so-and-so wouldn't vote for it and it wouldn't get voted in. Nah, they have the majority. They're in control of the schools. They're in control of the police department. They're in control of the judges. They're in control of the taxes that come in. They're in control of the stuff that is made for the city to produce revenue. They're in control of the money that the state gives to them. They're in control of all these things. So my question is, when I was dealing with this abusive officer, and that's me saying that, why haven't the people in the city of Pittsburgh forced their legislators to prioritize legislation that would make the police accountable, and I mean with real accountability, real power, to their citizens? Answer that question for me. This has been just another quick drive time with Justin Bozeman. I'll talk to y'all later.